Week's main news. Deputy Assistant to the U.S. Secretary of State holds briefing for journalists. What is preventing Azerbaijan from joining NATO? Hearing on youth activists' appeal starts without his presence. Eynullah Fethullayev meets with representatives of youth organizations. Crisis at the Institute of Peace and Democracy. Family of Bakhtiyor Hajiyev condemns Leader TV.
Deputy Assistant to the U.S. Secretary of State for Democracy and Human Rights Thomas Melia held a briefing today at Arifas Press Center after his meetings with heads of the governmental agencies and members of civil society during his two-day visit to Azerbaijan. Melia gave brief information about the meetings he held in Baku. Thomas Melia answered the questions of mass media representatives. He spoke about the development of democracy, political prisoners, freedom of media and speech in Azerbaijan. The briefing was posted in no comment section of Objective TV.
A roundtable on NATO, the political and military alliance of the 21st century, was held today, organized by the National and International Studies Center and the Romanian Embassy. The head of the Democratic Reforms Party, MP Asim Malazadeh, reported that since Azerbaijan regained independence, there has been a consensus between the leading political forces of Azerbaijan on integration into the Europe-Atlantic zone. Malazadeh says that Azerbaijan needs time to bring up a new generation of leaders and to develop democratic institutions in order for its system to be aligned with NATO. East-West Studies Center Director Arashtun Orujlu believes that the Azerbaijani authorities are deliberately avoiding NATO membership. The co-chairman of the Republican Alternative Civil Movement, Ilgar Mahmadov, says there is a gap between the principles of the Azerbaijani Authority and those of NATO. The Azerbaijani authorities do not support fundamental NATO values, freedoms of the speech, press, economic freedoms, civil society involvement, and so on. That's also the reason that Azerbaijan is refraining from the World Trade Organization membership, said Mahmadov. In his speech on the new cooperation policy at NATO Lisbon Summit, U.S. Ambassador to Azerbaijan Matthew Bryza said that the doors of the alliance are open to all democratic European countries, as well as Azerbaijan. Bryza added that the U.S. supports democratization processes in Azerbaijan and noted some achievements. He referred to the release of journalist Eynullah Fethullayev as one of them. The head of the EU delegation to Azerbaijan, Roland Kobia, noted that Azerbaijan's membership to NATO and the WTO is voluntary. MP Rasim Musabayov suggested that Azerbaijan could develop NATO cooperation without necessarily pursuing NATO membership. The complication with Azerbaijan's NATO membership is related not only to a lack of a clear position amongst the domestic authorities, but amongst NATO. NATO is not sufficiently aware of the problems in the country. However, in general, attitudes to cooperation with NATO are positive. According to social surveys, more than half of the population support integration into NATO, whereas only 10 to 12% support membership to the alliance. Azerbaijan's military cooperation with Turkey also consolidates relations with NATO. National and International Studies head, Leyla Aliyev, said that Azerbaijan was much weaker in the 1990s than at present. However, at that point, Azerbaijan was pursuing a much more directed policy on NATO integration.
Today, Sumgait Appell's court held a preliminary hearing on the appeal filed against 4 May 2011 decision of Sumgait City Court, which sentenced youth activist Jabar Savalanlı to 2.5 years in jail. Judge Latifa Husseinova presided over the hearing. Jabar Savalanlı didn't attend the hearing, but his attorneys Asabali Mustafayev, Anar Gasimov, and public prosecutor Azar Osmanov were in attendance. Gasimov stated in the hearing that the pretrial detention for Jabar Savalanlı has expired. Therefore, deeming the continued arrest of Savalanlı as illegal, the lawyer filed a motion demanding release for the activist. Gasimov filed another motion requesting a court investigation alongside the hearing of the Court of Appellate Instance. He grounded his motion with the fact that the witnesses have also been involved in other cases and that the expert report was disputed. The activist and other lawyer Sabali Mustafayev noted that the testimonies of the investigator and the expert have not been covered in the verdict. These testimonies were not evaluated by the judge and therefore the motions should be granted. Commenting in the motion, the public prosecutor Azar Osmanov stated that the motions were ungrounded, therefore requested the judge to not grant the motions. After deliberation, the judge rejected the motions and scheduled the next hearing to 30 June. Azerbaijan Popular Front Party member Jabar Savalanlı was arrested on February 5, 2011. He is being charged with drug possession, but it is widely thought that his arrest was politically motivated, linked to criticism of the government he posted on social networking sites. Sumgayit City Court sentenced Jabar Savalanlı to 2.5 years in jail on May 4, 2011. Former political prisoner Einullah Fatullayev met with representatives of independent youth organizations today. The meeting aimed to discuss arrangement of effective defense for jailed political activists. Fatullayev spoke about the defense campaign for him held while he was in prison. He said that he will write about his days in prison. Fatullayev believed that the number of independent media outlets should be increased in the country. According to him, existing of great number of independent press outlets would contribute to protection of freedoms. Fatullayev condemned the operational public committee on monitoring of prison conditions. Then he advised the representatives of diplomatic corps in the country to have more meetings with political prisoners. He underlines the necessity for defense committees to cooperate with the international community. Fatullayev added that the defense committees could disseminate daily press releases regarding the political prisoners. Fatullayev concluded that he will spare no effort for defense of political prisoners.
A serious crisis happened today at noon around the Institute of Peace and Democracy, led by Leyla Yunus, located in the one-story house in Badalbeyli, 38th Street. The employees of the institute decided to write on the wall of the building to discern what the organizations were. Located there were the Institute for Peace and Democracy, the Women's Crisis Center, the Association to Prohibition of Mines. However, some time later, several people in plain clothes came and demanded to erase the inscription. The officers of the Nasimi District Police Station also came and made an order to erase the inscriptions on the wall. The Institute of Peace and Democracy has been located at this address for many years. There has not been any signs on the building identifying the organizations inside. This building was privatized long ago by its owner and is used by the above-mentioned NGOs. However, the police cannot explain why it is not permitted to write on the wall what institutions are located in it. Moreover, they attempted to take Leyla Yunus to the police or to pressure her so that she would not have anything painted on the wall. After Yunus did not obey them, journalists and foreign diplomats came to the scene, and the police stepped back but continued to keep watch from the police car. "This is arbitrariness and pressure on us, but we will not surrender," said Leyla Yunus. The pressure of police coincided with the demands of the executive power to liberate the houses and to move to a new premises. Most of the people demand to leave their flats in the center of the city and to move to the outskirts of town. According to the residents of the houses in Badalbeyli Street, the representatives of the government have not yet paid the compensation of 1,500 manat per square meter. According to the plans of the authorities, one-story houses in the Badalbeyli and Mirza Aga Aliyev streets have been demolished. The authorities are going to build a winter boulevard in its place.
We protest against the broadcasting of programs against Bakhtiar Hajiyev on Leader TV. Everyone can be criticized, but no insult should be admitted. Journalist Rusal Mammadov, who prepared TV program against Hajiyev, should respect himself and avoid using cumulating language, said Hajiyev's mother Solida Mevlayeva at a press conference today at Arifas Press Center. Bakhtiar Hajiyev is a model for Azerbaijani youth. Thousands of youth are supporting him. Leader TV is condemned by the society, but Bakhtiar is respected even in prison, said Solida Mevlayeva. When Hajiyev was speaking from the tribune and attending the election campaign of Hillary Clinton, Leader TV presented him as a young leader. But now, programs are prepared against him. This political order. Azerbaijan government made this order as it saw that the democratic community, the youth joined the defense campaign for Bakhtiar. But they are wrong. Azerbaijan youth will reach democratic society, said Solida Mevlayeva. Then, Vugar Hajiyev, on behalf of their family, relatives and friends, thanked to the local and international community, right defense organizations, diplomatic corps, and journalists for supporting Hajiyev's fight for democracy. Support campaign for Bakhtiar Hajiyev is continuing. Defense organizations started later door-to-door campaign. Defense Committee for Rights of Youth Political Prisoners support this campaign. Raila Abbasov, the coordinator of support campaign for Bakhtiar Hajiyev, said that they will go to press council and start campaign against Leader TV if does not stop broadcasting programs against Hajiyev. After the press conference, Bakhtiar Hajiyev's mother said that she resigned from ruling New Azerbaijan Party in protest to illegal arrest of Bakhtiar Hajiyev. Sorida Norbayeva arrived at Bakhtiarban and left her party membership card before the grave of Heydar Aliyev.